Hello, my name is Jennifer. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner in Cazenovia, New York, and I am an alumni of the Minnesota Institute of Ayurveda. I've spent most of my professional career in the environmental field, and that includes working in education, working in corporate consulting as a project manager for environmental cleanup projects, and also at the health department in environmental health. My bachelor's degree is in biology, and my master's degree is in environmental engineering science. I actually come from quite a medical family, but my pursuit of holistic medicine came in my adulthood through my own health crisis as I was looking for answers. I had been diagnosed with chronic late-stage Lyme in my 40s, and then I had a cancer scare as well. And so, as you can imagine, that, kind of rattles your world. I wasn't finding answers through Western medicine. Soon, food is medicine became my mantra. It became my mantra for healing. And as such, I started looking at a career shift, at a purpose shift in my life, and was pursuing a degree in clinical nutrition, a master's of science actually in clinical nutrition, to follow that food is medicine approach. And then I found Ayurveda. So what I learned in Ayurveda is that Ayurvedic nutrition is different than the Western approach to nutrition. In Ayurveda and Ayurvedic nutrition, they look at the whole person, truly the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. All three of those components are factored into the nutritional aspect and balance of your diet and your health when you're looking at the health of a person. So to make a long story short, I halted my pursuit of a second master's degree, the clinical nutrition approach, and I pursued Ayurveda. I found the Minnesota Institute of Ayurveda. I met Dr. Asavri Manvikar, and I decided to join the AHC program, the Ayurvedic Health Counseling Program. It was less than a year's commitment. I felt like the schedule worked for me. It was doable. I have 3 children, and they're school age, they're young, so my hands were full. But I found the program to be flexible and doable within my means. And I was grateful for that. I liked it so much, and I loved my classmates so much. I consider them colleagues. And my colleagues were from all around the country, all across the United States, East Coast to West Coast, and even international. And we all had something in common, and that was our love and pursuit for the holistic life, the pursuit of Ayurveda. And so through that, I enjoyed my studies so much in AHC that I decided to continue on, and I wanted to learn more and understand the disease processes. So I became an Ayurvedic practitioner. I studied in the practitioner program following that, and I had the most amazing opportunity in that program to go to India. It's an India immersion. And that's why I decided actually to stay with the Minnesota Institute for my Ayurvedic practitioner program. One, because the teachers are amazing. They're heartfelt, they're intelligent, and they bring a lot of wisdom and applicable knowledge to the table. And 2, to have the opportunity to do clinical work, to see India, take in the cultural experiences of India, the spirituality of it, and the medicinal components of it, study and practice in Ayurvedic clinics and hospitals. It was incredible. Truly, truly a lifetime opportunity. I loved it. I look forward to going back. India's in my heart. So this is something that the Minnesota Institute has afforded me and others in the program to be able to do. And I found it to be quite worthwhile. So as I am very pleased to welcome you on your journey as you consider the AHC program here at the Minnesota Institute. And I wish you well. Namaste.
Hello, welcome to the Minnesota Institute of Ayurveda. My name is Jennifer. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner and an alumni of the school. I will be walking you through the Ayurvedic Health Counseling Program, Level 1 at the school. And I'd like to just take a moment to celebrate you for coming here today, for finding your way to Ayurveda and finding your way to the Minnesota Institute. It is a special place. It has special teachers and it has special students. Everybody comes here from a different place. I myself came from New York State, so geographically we come from different places. We also come from different places in life, our ages, our families, our careers. We have different reasons for coming to Ayurveda, but the core is the same. And that core, that common source, is is the truth of our holistic health. Seeking a way, learning how our bodies truly work, how to be truly healthy. And we learn this through the vast science of Ayurveda, the knowledge, the science of life. Ayu meaning life, Veda meaning science, knowledge. I myself came on this path from I had health challenges. I had what one would call a health crisis years ago, and my whole body broke. And I thought I was living quite a healthy life, but it all just kind of snapped and fell apart. And conventional Western medicine was unable to help me find solutions to it, get down to the root causes of it. I then went from conventional Western medicine to integrative functional medicine, and I did find a lot more help there. That was very relieving of many of my symptoms. But a large part of my healing path there was my food change. So I found a food as medicine approach was really integral to our health and well-being. And as part of the next step, it included an herbal therapy component for me. So I went from conventional medicine to functional integrative medicine to food as medicine, herbal supplements, herbal therapies, herbal healing. And I realized I said, wow, food is medicine, nutrition is the key. So I thought I would become a nutritionist to help people. I already had a master's degree in environmental engineering. I've had a long career, or a good career, a solid career, in the environmental field. But now I was moving from cleaning up the environment to cleaning up my body and cleaning up other people's bodies, helping people with that. And I thought nutrition was the way. And as I started going down that path, I realized there is more to it than just nutrition. And Ayurveda encompasses that. When they look at the individual, they look at the body, the mind, and the spirit. And all three of those facets of being a person need to be in balance in order to be in health. And Ayurveda addresses that. It encompasses the nutrition, it encompasses the mind, it encompasses the spirit. And you'll learn that here in the Ayurvedic Health Counseling Program. So, a little introduction to Ayurveda. It's over 5,000 years old of a history of a knowledge that encompasses, when you're talking about the study of life, that's pretty vast, that's pretty huge. And it's not just of human life, it's all life in general. And as it applies to our humanness. So, this is a medical system that is set up today in India. They have infrastructure there. It's designed, if you think about our Western medicine system and how it's broken apart with doctors, different doctor specialties, different, whether you have geriatrics, pediatrics, ear, nose, and throat, OBGYN, general practice, surgery, all of this, Ayurveda has the same. It is that specific and that in depth, and yet it can be distilled into such very fundamental components that everybody can grasp and everybody can implement in their life. And that's the beauty of it. And when you become an Ayurvedic counselor, you learn that. You incorporate, you take in those philosophies and the theory, you practice it yourself, and you teach others how to practice, how to put health and healing in their own hands. And you learn this from really, really wise and accomplished Ayurvedic doctors and practitioners, but originating from India. So you're getting the traditional knowledge when you come to the Minnesota Institute of Ayurveda. One thing, actually, I'll go back to this slide right here, and that I wanted to mention to you on the second bullet here, that this is passed down for many thousands of years through oral tradition from spiritual masters to their disciples. So I called this to mind because the teachers at the Minnesota Institute are truly so fabulous. Their heart is into this. You have to love this in order to do it well. And they do. And this is a tradition that has been passed down thousands of years. And when you choose to study it, you become part of that lineage. You become part of this that has been going on for thousands of years, passed from spiritual master to spiritual master, then written into texts in Sanskrit, which your teachers know how to read Sanskrit. You do not need to know how to read Sanskrit. You don't worry about that. You will learn a little bit about it though, and you will learn, you'll be introduced to it on a regular basis, but it's not a requirement. But that's part of the essence of learning Ayurveda. And you become part of this lineage when you choose to study at the Minnesota Institute. So, understanding the doshas, the fundamentals of Ayurveda include knowing that we have, knowing the physiological functions of the body, that they depend on the interactions of doshas. Health and disease are dependent on the balance of these doshas. So, what's a dosha? They're energies: vata, pitta, kapha. These three energies, they embody qualities of elements. There's five main elements: ether, air, earth, water, and fire. Two elements each are embodied in a dosha. The vata dosha, the vata energy, encompasses the qualities of air and ether. These are very movement-based elements. You think about wind, it's very fast, circulation. It's very creative too. These vata, that's the vata energy of movement and circulation, air, light qualities. Pitta, pitta is the energy of fire and water. It embodies these elements. And these elements are elements of transformation. So pitta dosha, that is the energy of transformation, metabolism, manifesting, changing. You think about a forest fire, it's transforming. It can also be destructive, the same as water. Water seemingly can be quite still, but it transforms. You think about the power of a hurricane, or even just the way that it erodes the Grand Canyon, or a sitting water anywhere. And then kapha. Kapha is this beautiful nurturing energy. It is encompassing of the elements of earth and water. So you think about springtime, and when it rains, this is traditionally, at least in the Northeast where I live, the rain in the springtime, plants are starting to grow. They're being nurtured by the water. They're growing from the earth. This is a very nurturing quality of kapha, stability there. We have all three of these energies in us. All three of these energies, vata, pitta, kapha, are in nature. They are in the world. They are in life, in different balances of them, different qualities. And so each of those five elements, they all break down into additional qualities too. We have the gunas. There's about 20 qualities, 20 main gunas or qualities that it's further differentiated as. And those feed into our vata, pitta, kapha. What you need to know about that, you will learn in AHC, but essentially understanding those fundamentals is the foundation for everything else that you learn in AHC. And it's the foundation for understanding our fingerprint, our health fingerprint, our energy fingerprint, and then how it has gone out of balance. We learn about the health and balance of our doshas, and then when they're out of balance, the diseases that come up. So our primary goal in Ayurveda is to prevent it, prevent disease. We want to keep our doshas balanced. And that's always going to be the focus. Unfortunately, that's not always the case, really anywhere, but that is the primary goal. So we'll learn a lot about prevention, and then we learn a lot about, well, what if it's gone too far? How do we rebalance it? And that's really the root causes. So what do we do when our doshas are out of balance? How do we change them? How do we bring them back to a balance to bring ourselves into a healthy state? We look at three things, a trifold approach: dietary modifications, lifestyle modifications, and herbal supplements. The first two are truly the key. Those are the ones that are the most empowering, both as a practitioner, truly, but really, to empower our clients, to empower yourself as an individual. What can you do to change in your food? What are you putting into your body that could be changing and altering your doshas, the balance? Right here in the very first line, it says making changes to food and water intake based on your specific prakriti. Your prakriti is your energy fingerprint that you're born with. It's also known as your constitution. So that prakriti, you will learn how to identify somebody's prakriti in the AHC program. That is fundamental. Once you identify a person's prakriti, then you are able, the foundation, their baseline, where they should be, what they're born to be, then you can say, this is where they're out of balance. And then you can say, and then this is how I get them back into balance to be like their prakriti. That's the concept. So understanding the qualities of food is something you'll learn in AHC, and how you can use different foods to balance the energies in your body as needed. Very individualized to the person's prakriti, individualized to the foods that you're working with. Lifestyle modifications. This includes dinacharya. That's a very fancy word for your daily practices, daily healthcare, to even your sleeping schedule, how much sleep you're getting, what kind of exercise you're doing. Not all exercise is the same. Different exercises are better for different prakritis. So you'll learn that too. That's very interesting. The same thing with foods. We learn a lot about certain foods in life outside of Ayurveda, that this type of food is good for you. That may be true if you are a certain prakriti, but if you're a little off balance, that food might not be good for you right now. Doesn't mean you can never eat it, but it just means that at that moment, your balance, that would continue to put you off balance. And then herbal supplements. And that is you'll learn in AHC different herbs. If after food and lifestyle modifications, the doshas still need a little bit more help to balance themselves out in your body, nature's food, more natural plants, we learn how to use those to incorporate that into the body system and to balance out the doshas that way. So in AHC, you'll learn some formulations. You'll learn some classical Ayurvedic formulations that are used, and some single herbs and what they do. Prerequisites in order to study Ayurvedic health counseling here at the Institute. You do need, first and foremost, to have an interest and a love in Ayurveda. You have to want to do it. It's a lot of hard work, but truly, like, the love for anything, a passion for anything in your life is where you'll be happy. So if you have a passion and an interest in this, we want you. You're welcome here. High school. You'll need to have a high school transcript or a higher education transcript. And anatomy and physiology. So that is something you do need to have 6 college level credits of that. So it's anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 in order to take this class. And you can talk to Dr. Asavri Manvikar about fulfilling those requirements and how that works. But these 3 are the core prerequisites for AHC. And they maintain a level, they're important. They're important to have, and the people who graduate here have a solid knowledge when they leave. You know, a Minnesota Institute health counselor, their quality. So the learning format, it's a hybrid live online. It's a 10-month program, which for me, it worked out really well as an alumni. Less than a year, that was a good commitment for me. If you have other commitments in life, other responsibilities, other people that you're responsible for, this isn't going to be long lasting, but it does require dedication on a regular basis, and I'll get into that. This is an over 600-hour certification program. So you put in over 600 hours to get this certification. It's a lot of work. It's not just like, a $10 class that you're getting a certificate for. When you choose to study this, you're studying for the knowledge. You're doing this for the knowledge, not just a certificate. But that certificate comes with a lot of credentials behind it, if you will. So hybrid live, it includes handouts, assignments, quizzes. There's online pre-recorded lectures and articles, kind of working my way from the bottom up. There are 40 Wednesday classes. So the AHC classes are on Wednesday evenings. They're virtual classes. They're online. Every week you have a class, a 3-hour class, live in person on the computer with a teacher and your class. So you're interacting. You're not just looking at recordings always. The pre-recorded lectures, you do that on your own time outside of the actual class hours. And then in addition, every month you are to attend a weekend intensive class. That's for the full weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And that can be either in person if you are in Minnesota, or you want to travel to Minnesota. It's really wonderful to do what you can in person, but it can also be online. I did most of mine online, and at this stage, 40 hours, any 2 weekends of those 10 weekends. So any 2 of them need to be in person. That is a requirement. It's a requirement to meet the credentialing agencies. So the Ayurvedic Accreditation Commission and NAMA, the National Ayurvedic Medical Accreditation Council, the Minnesota Institute is accredited by both of these. So any school that you're looking at, like our school, that you want to see that they have, when they do have an accreditation by these, you can know that they meet a standard level, a high standard level of education. You can trust and rest assured that you're going to learn what you need to learn. Program components. So as I already mentioned before, but this is a beautiful slide, weekend intensive. All right, so we have weekend intensive, we have weekly classes, we have coursework, and a clinical component. And all of this happens over the course of 10 months. The weekend intensive happens every single month. You dedicate one weekend, and usually, I'm not sure which weekend it was. In my cohort, it was the very first weekend of the month. But it's a back-to-back Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can do that live or online, but 2 weekends out of the 10 that you need to do need to be in person to meet the credentialing agency's requirements. Weekly classes, those are Wednesdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Those are live classes on the computer. You'll be speaking to and listening to your teachers. You'll have an opportunity to ask them questions, have dialogue with your fellow classmates. It's a really, really wonderful part of the program. There's a lot of learning that happens in those times. So that happens weekly. And then in between that, every month you're given a new learning set of materials. There's a new topic, and you can do those at your own pace. So you will have coursework. This is the coursework. There'll be pre-recorded lectures to do at your own pace, videos, readings, scientific literature, quizzes, and assignments. All of this, you do this on your own pace. And then there's a clinical component. The requirement is 75 encounter hours. Those are clinical encounter hours, hours spent with a client, helping them, practicing Ayurvedic health counseling, helping them through things. Our wonderful program brings in clients, we'll call them practice clients, people who have volunteered to be assessed. And so you will receive some of your encounter hours right through our program. And then you can look to other friends, family, anywhere else outside you're welcome to bring in other client hours from outside of the program that can count towards this requirement, this clinical component. The required text, there are 4 textbooks for the program. There's 3 volumes to the textbook of Ayurveda by Dr. Vasat Lad. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful textbook. So if you've been to college, if you've gone to college, I went to college for many years. I have lots of textbooks. These textbooks are ones that you truly actually like using and you will keep as a reference. They're wonderful. They're wonderfully illustrated, wonderfully explained. They're really a treasure and they're wonderful. So we have 3 volumes of those going over the fundamental principles, the guide to clinical assessment, and then the general principles of management and treatment. The 4th textbook focuses on herbs, Ayurvedic medicine, the principles of traditional practice by Sebastian Pohl. And this textbook is fantastic. It really goes in depth and in detail, both into the herbs that you'll be using and beyond. If you choose to go further and become an Ayurvedic practitioner, study beyond, this encompasses many, many herbs. So the curriculum, every month, this is broken down. Every month, you'll learn different concepts. The first month, first and foremost, basic foundation philosophy and prevention science. That's AHC 101. And this is where you'll go through understanding the doshas, the different times of day, all the fundamentals. AHC 102, the next month, month 2, you'll go over concepts of anatomy and physiology from an Ayurvedic standpoint. And this is where you'll talk about or understand the doshas further. Dhatus, malas. Dhatus are the tissues, our body tissues, and malas are the waste products. And so you'll have an understanding of how these doshas are working through our bodies, manifesting within us, and then leaving us as well. So it's a beautiful, beautiful program. The next session, the 3rd month, is Ayurvedic diet and nutrition, where you learn about the different qualities of the foods. So we know about our doshas in our body. The foods have qualities to them too. And so you select foods to balance what's going on in the time particular classes. You learn how to make some food items. You're not just going to practicum, which is interesting doing that from a distance, but it actually works. In my cohort, I had my computer set up in my kitchen. All my colleagues had theirs in their own homes, and we did our practicums this way, and it was really, really beneficial. I had made ghee, I had made buttermilk, I made what else did I make? We made a lot of different foods. It was really, really incredible. So that's very helpful. I find the practicum in this particular session to be really, really valuable. Ayurvedic pathology. So now you've got the basics down of the qualities of your body, what you've got, the foods that you can work with. Well, what happens if this is out of balance? So it goes back to doshas, the energies, the dhatus, the tissues, the malas, the waste products, and vikriti. Vikriti is the term of imbalance. So that's the root of our disease, the imbalance and how it manifests in our body. So that's a really interesting course. The 5th session, the fifth month, you get into herbology, the Dravya Guna. So that is the different qualities of the different herbs and how to use them to balance the doshas in somebody's body. Month 6, we get into clinicals, clinical parameters, the Nidan Panchakam. So this is really beautiful. What are you looking at when you're looking at taking care of a client? So you learn all about client care, different ways of assessing a person. Month 7, Ayurvedic clinical management. You'll see this, we actually spent 2 months on that. Clinical management 1 and clinical management 2. Kaya Chikitsa is what it's called. And then as we wrap up our last 2 months, month 9, we do an integration of Ayurveda and yoga and special topics. So earlier in the year, you'll have a sequenced out. So you get a research. You'll have a research special topic that you choose. You work with your teacher on this. Is this a good topic? You know, this is a topic of interest, and you have an opportunity to present this to your classmates and to your teachers. In AHC 110 on the very last month, we have special topics 2 and course review. You do have a final quiz, final exam, and a graduation, which is lovely and beautiful. I myself, for my AHC graduation, some people, you graduate in person if you'd like. You come into Minnesota and you'll have a beautiful ceremony in person there. I myself was not able to come to Minnesota for my AHC graduation, and so I did that online. Some of my other colleagues were online as well, and it was equally, it was lovely. It was lovely. I felt included. Missed out on the good food they were having there, but other than that, I learned how to make it myself so I could celebrate back here. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. So the outcomes and takeaways with all the different coursework for the 10 months of study, the practicums, learning about how to assess a client, assess a person. You're gonna understand your constitution. That's the Prakriti. How to identify and analyze a person's unique mind and body constitution, their unique energetic fingerprint. Second one is you're going to understand the imbalances. So you learn the foundation, then you understand how it's imbalanced. Identify and analyze a client or yourself, another person's current dosha state and the imbalances. So you're going to learn the Prakriti in number 1, the Vikriti in number 2. Number 3, go beyond. You can work as an Ayurvedic practitioner. You can work as an Ayurvedic health educator. You could go on to study Ayurvedic practitioner and become an Ayurvedic practitioner in the level 2 series, if you like. You can use this as an Ayurvedic esthetician. You can work in a spa. You can work in a holistic center. You can even work with, if you've got open-minded doctors and nurses, you could work in a medical center that you might be able to apply this. If you're a massage therapist, you certainly can apply these practices with that. If you are a counselor, by another training, you can incorporate that into your work. You can become an Ayurvedic nutritionist, helping people in your version of a health and wellness coach. And then 4, this is you conducting consultations. So from this program, you will gain the knowledge that you need and the experience that you need to independently conduct Ayurvedic wellness consultations. And again, if you choose to go on, you go on. If not, you continue. What you've gained is wonderful knowledge that is very practical. So why study at the Minnesota Institute of Ayurveda? Well, we have lots of drop-down numbers here. First and foremost, it is a very high level of authentic knowledge. That is one of the very special qualities of this school. There's many Ayurvedic institutes out there, schools to learn counseling from. What struck me about this school is the authenticity of the teachers and the heart, their genuine desire, their motivation in teaching as well. So that resonated with me. 2, it's a very flexible learning format. That was really important for me. I have a family and I have a lot of responsibilities outside of this program. So I needed a flexible learning format. The expert faculty are fantastic. 4, supportive cohort. I think it just works out that way. You're drawn, you have a common, we all come from different directions, different places in life, but Ayurveda is your common source. And if something resonates with you at the Minnesota Institute, there's a reason for that. And you all share in that. There's a similar heart quality to it. The cohorts are very, very supportive, your fellow students. Learning healthy lifestyle, Ayurvedic cooking, really fantastic. And that I apply to my family on a regular basis. Practical knowledge applied to the modern world. So these are ancient practices. We live in a very different society, but truth is truth. So we have to be flexible with how we can apply it in our society world. But it does apply. So this is very practical knowledge, how to use this in our life today. 7, hands-on clinical guidance. That's really important. 8, evidence-based education. 9, licensed post-secondary career school. This is very special. The Minnesota Institute of Ayurveda, it is a licensed technical school in Minnesota. So it's a quality school that it's quality teachers. And then 10, strong alumni network, which and I'm part of that. So you could be part of our lineage and our alumni network as we continue to go out from our learning, whether we went through the AHC program, continued on into the AP program, we stay connected. We form bonds. When you are with somebody for 3 hours a week, every week, you really do get to know them, and you get to like them. You really get to know the person. And I'm really, really grateful and proud for the people that I've met through here and that I feel connected to. So if you're interested in this, if this feels good to you, if it feels right to you, there's an application process to it. If you still have more questions, please definitely call and get in touch with us. That'll be on the next slide. I'd be happy to speak with anybody. Dr. Savri Mamvikar, our founder and lead teacher, she would be wonderful to speak to. And that's part of the interview process here, the application process. But first and foremost, go to the website. So it's MNAYURVEDA.com. That's Minnesota Ayurveda.com. Submit an application. Right? You'll have a 15-minute phone interview. You'll get notification of acceptance after review of your application and the phone interview, at which point you would sign a contract. There is a seat and a technical fee in addition to the tuition, so you pay that. Then you'll be added to Canvas. So Canvas is the online platform, online where you get all of the course materials. So it's all really well organized, all in one place. And you'll get acquainted. You'll have time to get acquainted with the handouts, the assignments, the quizzes, how the Canvas setup is set up. You'll become part of a WhatsApp group. So that's like social communication amongst your cohort. So every cohort has a WhatsApp group for communication outside of the classroom hours. And you get connection and cohort support. So this is just an example. This is a picture of the online student portal, that Canvas that I mentioned earlier. You can see this is AHC, Ayurvedic Health Counselor. So that's what it'll look like if you get logged into Canvas. And you heard me mention this is Ayurvedic Health Counselor Level 1 program. There is an Ayurvedic Practitioner program, Level 2, afterwards. If you so choose to, there's no requirement to continue on. So, don't, please look at this as its own piece, the Ayurvedic Health Counseling program. And look at it as, I like to look at it as, and how I looked at it when I joined the program. I said, okay, this is a less than 1 year commitment. I can do this. It gives me a good opportunity to try it out. Some programs I had looked at were just one lump sum Ayurvedic practitioner program. And if I didn't complete it, say I didn't like it, then I wouldn't come out of it with really any level of credential afterwards. I really liked the way that this was broken up in these two levels here. So this worked out really well in my mind. But the Ayurvedic Health Counselor Program, it's a 10-month program, over 600 hours. If you choose to go on, there's another 14-month program on top of that with another 906 hours on top of that. And that's the prerequisite is having completed level one. And that goes into more intensive, more in depth. So here you get a really wonderful, robust introduction to Ayurveda and skills to health counsel people in how to change their life in a meaningful way, how to assess their balance, and how to help them correct it, and how to teach them to empower themselves. You help people empower themselves with the techniques, with the knowledge from Ayurveda, and that's simple changes. We can do this on our own. We don't need a doctor's prescription to change our daily routine, to change our diet, to change our lifestyle, to understand the foods that we're eating, spices that we add to our foods, herbal remedies that are available to us, yoga. And then another bullet, the third to last bullet down on here is an introduction to integrate yoga, Jyotish, and Vastu. That comes towards the end of your 10-month sessions. And these are fabulous sciences. Yoga is a sister science to Ayurveda. It's very critical. It's a very big piece. Learning our breath work, you're learning how to move the energy in our body through our stretches. This is very, very important. Jyotish is Vedic astrology and learning about the influences of the stars, of the celestial bodies on a person's health. And Vastu, it's the Indian equivalent of Feng Shui, if you're familiar with that, but that's the energy design in a home, in a place, how the energy moves in a home, in a place. And all that has an effect on a person's health too. So you'll be introduced to those topics in Ayurvedic Health Counseling 1. And that is our wonderful program. So please contact us. Absolutely contact us if you have any questions or if you just feel like talking with us. But we hope that you have a wonderful journey in Ayurveda. We hope that this resonates with you. We welcome you if it does, and we look forward to receiving your application or receiving your contact. Our phone number is on the screen. It's 612-868-8591. Our website and our email address, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again.